Claude, write me an email. I asked Claude for an email and got a question back. That's not Claude failing, that's Claude with nothing to work with. By the end of this video, you'll get what you want on the very first try. I'll show you how to use Claude step by step so you can write, analyze files, create documents, and research with AI. Claude is Anthropic's AI assistant, and what sets it apart is how well it handles real work. Long documents, careful writing, and multi-step tasks. We'll cover prompts, file uploads, artifacts, web search, research, memory, projects, skills, and connectors. I'm Jamie, and let's get into it. Let's start at Claude.ai. You can sign up with an email or Google account, no credit card needed. Now, quick word on pricing because it's the first question most people have. The free plan is genuinely usable and it got a lot bigger this year. You get the current Sonnet model, web search, projects, artifacts, file creation, and connectors. If you're just getting started, free covers most of this video. Pro is $20 a month, a little less on annual billing. You get much higher usage limits, plus access to the more powerful models, the research feature, and Claude Code. There's the max plans above at $100 and $200. Those don't add features, they add capacity. Skip them until the free or pro actually stops you. My suggestion, start free and upgrade to pro when you hit the limits doing real work. Now, that's the honest test. And you're never guessing where you stand. There's a usage page in settings that shows you. Now, one more thing to set up while we're here. Throughout this video, I'm using a demo business called Base Camp Brew Co. It's just a small batch coffee roaster in a mountain town. Every example comes back to them, so you can see one business use Claude from end to end. Here's the layout. Chats live in the sidebar on the left, along with projects and artifacts. We'll get to those. The message box is in the middle, and the plus button inside it is where a lot of the power hides. Files, screenshots, skills, connectors, research, and web search all live in that one menu. Remember that plus button. We'll be back. In the bottom right of the message box is the model picker. This trips people up, so let's take a minute. A model is the AI brain behind the chat, and Claude has a few. Sonnet 5 is the default, and it's the right choice for almost everything. It's fast, capable, what free accounts run on. On paid plans, you'll also see heavier models, including Fable 5, which is Anthropic's most capable model as of right now. Now, save it for the big jobs, long documents, complex analysis, work you'd normally spend over a whole afternoon. Heavier models burn through your usage limits faster. You'll also see an effort setting here. Medium is the default, and leave it there. Higher effort means Claude thinks longer on hard problems, and you don't need it for everyday work. Two more icons before we move on. The microphone is dictation. Speak instead of type. That can save you a lot of time. The waveform next to it is voice mode, a full back and forth conversation with Claude out loud. Great for thinking through an idea while you're away from your keyboard. The honest rule, stay on the default until you hit something it can't handle. Most people never need to switch. Now the part that matters more than any other feature, how you ask. Or the prompt. Remember that email from the open? I never actually got it. Claude had to ask me what I wanted. Nothing wrong with answering, but watch what happens when the details come up front. Write an email to Base Camp Brew's wholesale customers announcing the new Ridgeline Espresso blend. Warm but professional. Mention it launches the first week of October and keep it to 3 short paragraphs. Let's go ahead and submit. Now we did one prompt, we have one usable draft, and no back and forth. 3 things change. Who the email is for, what it needs to say, and how it should sound. Now, here's the pattern to remember. Context, task, format. Who's involved and what's the situation? What do you want done? What should the output look like? And you don't have to nail it on the first try. Claude remembers the whole conversation, so just reply like you would to a colleague. I'm going to add this. Make it shorter and add a line about free shipping on the first order. I'm just hitting enter this time. That back and forth is how Claude is meant to be used. The first answer is a draft, not a verdict. One more habit worth building. Ask Claude to ask you. You saw in the open that Claude will do this on its own on a request that's too thin, but you can invite it on purpose. I need a tagline for the Ridgeline blend. Ask me 3 questions first that would help you write a better one. So now it's asking me a few questions. I'm going to go ahead and choose smooth and balanced, warm and inviting. Wholesale cafe owners. So that flips the conversation and the results are noticeably better. Small habit, big payoff. Let's go start a new chat and put Claude to work on real files. So I can go ahead and click the plus and you're going to see add files or photos. So I can go to my documents, I can go to Claude and grab the files this way. But you can also just drag things over. So I'm going to go and grab this spreadsheet right here. I can drag and drop. Claude can read PDFs, Word documents, spreadsheets, images, and more. Here's my prompt. Here's 12 months of sales. Which product is growing fastest? And is there anything in this data that I should be worried about? And look at this. No formulas, no pivot tables. Claude reads the data, answers in plain language, and you can see down below, it's even asking follow-up questions. I'm just going to go ahead and ask it to show the sales data as a chart, one line per product. So for anyone who thinks better in pictures, this is worth knowing. Ask for a diagram of process or a chart of your numbers and you get a visual, not a wall of text. And this works with images too. I'm going to grab this image right here. And you can kind of see if I click on it, it will expand it. You can get an idea what this is about. I'm going to go and ask this. Write 3 Instagram caption options for this product photo. Now I quickly get them back and they are based on that photo. So it read the text, it examined the image to be able to create the accurate captions for this Ridgeline Espresso blend bag. Photos, screenshots, handwritten notes, whiteboards. If you can see it, Claude can usually read it. That's the move. Stop retyping things in a chat and just hand it over. I do this all the time. I'll just take out my phone, take a picture of something and bring it in a chat and get it to examine. Claude doesn't just read files, it creates them. Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoint decks, and PDFs ready to download. This is what I'm going to try this time. Create a one-page wholesale price sheet for Base Camp Brew as a Word document. Include Ridgeline Espresso or 2 other blends and a short paragraph at the top. Let's go submit. And look at this. I can go ahead and download this. I can connect it to, add it to my Google Drive or open it there. I'm just going to click download and open it up, enable the editing. So this is a real Word file, formatted and ready to edit. Same idea works for spreadsheets of launch task or a short slide deck for a supplier meeting. For beginners, this is one of the fastest wins in the whole tool. You describe the document, Claude builds it, you polish it, the blank page problem is gone. Next, let's look at artifacts. Remember artifacts in the sidebar? Just click on it and you get a menu of what's possible. Apps, websites, documents, games, productivity tools, quizzes. When you ask Claude for something substantial, it opens in a panel beside the chat so you can watch it build and ask for changes. Let's make one. I'm going to pick quiz or survey. Create a simple interactive quiz called What's Your Roast that asks 4 questions and recommend one of Base Camp Brew's 3 blends. Let's go ahead and submit. Now it went through and kind of gave me a plan for What's Your Roast. So the 3 blends, it went through Trailhead, Base Camp Original, Summit Dark. The 4 questions are right here. I could have a conversation with, if I want anything to be changed, I would just go down and tell it to change this, build it. And look at this. This is a working quiz built from 1 sentence. I can test it right here. Let's give it a try. So I'm going to say, how do you take on the big one? I'm going to say, up here, I'll say dark chocolate, no apologies. Your ideal work weekend looks like, let's go slow camp, pick the word. I'm going to go, let's go bright. And there we go. Apparently it's recommending the Trailhead for me. And you can see how this connect to shop this blend if you had that set up. And here's the part beginners miss. The quiz isn't trapped in Claude. See this menu right up top here? Publish artifacts gives you a link anyone can open. So if I go ahead and click on this, I can publish to the web, share with your team, and then you can publish and copy the link and share this with other people. I'll publish this and I'll put the link down the bottom and let me know what type of coffee it's recommending you. I can also download this as an HTML. This will open in any browser. So if I go ahead and just open this file now, and look at this, I'm just in my browser and this is just saved locally. I could upload this to the web also. Either way, what you build here leaves with you. Out of the box, Claude answers from training, which has a cutoff date. For anything current, you want web search. And I'm just going to go and hit the plus, and you can see here's web search right here. And on most accounts, it should already be on. Let's go ahead and give it a search. I'm going to say, what are the current trends in specialty coffee subscriptions this year? So the thing I want you to notice are the sources. You'll see them right here. So if I click on them, it will open up where it's pulling that information from. Now, the bigger version of this is research. This one's on the paid plans. I'm going to go back to the plus, and I'm going to click on research this time. And you can see how the magnifying is showing that it's in research mode. I'm going to give it this. Research the specialty coffee subscription market. I run a small batch roaster in the mountain town. Cover pricing models, retention tactics, and what small roasters are doing that works. Research doesn't answer in one pass. It runs dozens of searches, reads the results, and comes back minutes later with a cited report. So that research took 7 minutes and 29 seconds, 248 sources. So we have a little bit of a summary here, but over here, and I'll just stretch this out, we have the specialty coffee subscription playbook for a small town, mountain town roaster 2026. And all of this information has come from those 248 sources that I went through and put together this report based on exactly what I asked from it. So this would have taken me an afternoon of tabs and notes. It's a feature I'd upgrade to Pro for ahead of everything else. We also had here, you can download this as a PDF, a markdown, or do the publish, just like I showed you before, where you could take that link and then share it with other people. Now, let's talk a little bit about the settings. And before the newest big change, just one quick stop while we're going to settings. And I'm just going to click down below. You'll see settings right here with the shortcut. But I'm going to just talk about general real quick. And I want to point out this instructions for Claude. So this is where you tell Claude how you like to work once, and it applies to every chat. So keep answers short. Explain things for a grade 7 class. Always ask before assuming. Whatever you find yourself repeating, put it here to stop repeating it. I'm just going to put this. I run a small coffee roasting business, keep answers practical, and skip the jargon. I'm going to go and save. 30 seconds, and every future conversation starts smarter. Now, the newest big change, and it fixes the most annoying thing about AI chat starting from 0 every time. Claude has memory. 2 toggles control it, search and reference chats. I'm going to go over now to capabilities. Here's our search and reference chat. You can see how I have this toggled on. And also generate memory from chat history. I have this toggled on. Something you do need to turn on if you want to take advantage of this. So generate memory from chat history lets it remember context about you and your work across chats. So take a look at this. If I go back to a chat and ask, what did we decide about the Ridgeline launch timing in our earlier chats? So that's something in one of these past ones over here. So it found the answer in a conversation from before. No re-explaining, no digging through the sidebar. And because memory carries context forward, new chats start warm. Claude already knows I run Base Camp Brew, so I can just say draft the October newsletter, and it knows what October means for us. 2 things worth knowing. You're in control, right here on the same page. View and edit memory shows you everything Claude remembers, and you can change it or turn it all off. And if you're moving from another AI assistant, there's an option to import your memory, so you don't have to start from scratch. You'll see it right here, and you can go ahead and click Start Import. And for the times you want the opposite of memory, see this ghost icon up here in the top right? This starts incognito chat, so nothing from it gets saved to your history or your memory. This is useful for one-off questions, surprise gift planning, or anything you'd rather keep out of record. If you only change one setting after this video, make it memory. Memory is automatic. Projects are deliberate. A project is a workspace where you load the files and instructions for one ongoing piece of work, and every chat inside of it starts with that knowledge. So let's build one for our launch. I'm going to go to projects. We're going to create a new project. And what is this going to be called? We're going to call this Ridgeline Launch. And what am I trying to achieve? Everything for the October launch of our Ridgeline Espresso Blend, emails, social posts, wholesale outreach. Let's go ahead and create the project. And here's the project's homepage. 3 sections down below. We have our memory, our instructions, and files. Let's start with files, the documents this work always needs. I'm going to drag 2 files, my 2026 price list and this spreadsheet that we worked on before. So I can grab, you can see there's 2 attached, and I'm going to just drop them right in. These files now live here permanently, so no chat in the project never needs to attach them again. Next, the instructions field. This one's different from the description you just wrote. Instructions tell Claude how to behave in every chat inside this project. Let's click Edit Instructions. And this is what I'm going to tell it. And just before I give it the instructions, notice this, what the dialog says. These work alongside the instructions for Claude we set earlier in the settings. So those travel with you everywhere. These apply just to this project. They stack. This is what I'm going to tell it. Base Camp Brew is a small batch roaster in a mountain town. Voice is warm, plain spoken, never salesy. Ridgeline Espresso launches the first week of October. I'm just going to go and save these instructions. I'm going to start a new chat now. Draft a launch announcement for our email list. I'm going to just submit. I can see it working through the sales data, looking at the spreadsheets, and here's the launch announcement. So no setup, no re-uploading, straight to work. And remember that the memory section on this project page, after a few chats, the project builds its own memory of this work. So decisions, drafts, directions, separate from your general memory and only visible to you. The launch gets smarter as you go. 1 project per ongoing effort, a product launch, a course you're building, a client. This is the single best organizing habit in Claude. Skills are new this year, and the idea is simple. They're saved instructions that teach Claude how to do a specific task, your way, every time. Now, some come built in, and there's a directory where you can browse more. Skills for building documents, checking decks, debugging, and plenty else. They're right here in the plus menu. You can see where you can go and browse, or even have the skill creator or manage skills. But here's the part I like. You mostly don't need to invoke them at all. You describe your task naturally, and Claude recognizes when a skill applies and uses one on its own. And as I mentioned right here, you can create your own skill. So let's say if you write the same kind of report every month, you turn your format into a skill once, and every future report comes out that way. Think of skills as training Claude once instead of prompting it every time. That's a full video on its own, and I'll link mine down below and up in the card. So far, everything lived inside chat. Connectors let Claude reach the tools you already use. So like Google Drive, Gmail, Calendar, Slack, Notion, and a growing directory of others. Let's set one up right now so you can see that this takes seconds, not an afternoon. I'm going to go and to my add connector, and I'm going to browse connectors, and we're going to add Google Drive. You're going to see all the different ones that are just under that browse list I mentioned. I'm going to go to Google Drive right here and make sure that I have this connected. So this will be able to allow me to search, read, and upload files instantly. So I'm just going to go connect, and I'm going to have to connect my account to this. You do have to give Claude access to your Google Drive. So now notice, if I go back to my connectors, you can see that I have Google Drive connected, and I have to have this toggled on. So you can have numerous connections here, and you can turn them on and off as you're needing them. Now, here's my Google Drive. Here's a couple of files that I'm going to refer these to my supplier list. So it's not coming into an empty Google Drive to find this. Now, just back on a new chat, I'm going to ask it to do this. Find my Base Camp Brew supplier price list in my Google Drive and summarize what changed from last year. Let's go ahead and hit enter. So it found both years from the Alpenglow coffee importers. And look at this. So it's pulled it quickly out of my Google Drive and giving me the summation of the information that I asked for. So no downloading, no re-uploading. Claude went to the file where it lives. One piece of honest advice here. Connect tools as you need them, not all at once. Each connector is a permission you're granting. So start with 1 or 2 you'd actually use. For most people, that's your Drive or email, and grow from there. Everything we did today syncs across the web, the desktop app, and the mobile app. Same chats, same projects, same memory. The mobile app is great for voice. Talk through an idea on a walk, then pick it up at your desk where you left off. If you want the desktop app, just go to this download, get apps and extensions. Once you click on this, move down, and we have our desktop where we can download for Windows. And if you're on a Mac, it will come up with Mac. Once you get it installed, you can see that the experience is kind of the same, but I like the access to everything from CoWork or Claude Code. And I have videos on both of these. So if you want to kind of dive deeper into kind of these next steps of learning Claude, take a look at my CoWork or my Claude Code videos. Just back in my browser, Claude, and I just want to point to this right here, the design, Claude design. So this turns plain description into finished visual. So it could be like slides, landing pages, marketing, graphics, and it deserves a proper walkthrough. I have a full tutorial on it coming out soon, so just hit the subscribe button if you want to catch that one. Start here in chat though. Everything else builds on what you learned today. That's the full tour. Prompts, files, artifacts, search, research, memory, projects, skills, and connectors. Don't try to adopt it all this week. Pick one, turn on memory, or set up your first project. One habit at a time. It's how it sticks. And if this helped, the Claude playlist has the next steps, and subscribing helps me make more of these videos. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.